Inktober is a yearly art challenge that you must have heard of already if you clicked on this video. Basically, there's a list of prompts that you have to follow for each drawing, exactly one per day for 31 days in a row. Every year it creates a lot of excitement but also anxiety among online artists. You have to produce a lot of artwork in a short time, and you feel like you have to compete with the whole artistic world on this challenge. For me, it's kind of an achievement I really wanted to have once in my career. I attempted multiple times but never finished the whole list. Until last year, when I finally prepared myself in advance and managed to do it with some colors to match my feed. After that, I was done with Inktober. I received the badge of honor I was looking for. I'm all good, thank you. But in this ruthless year of 2024, my last year of art school was starting to feel a little too easy, and my first exam dropped. We have to participate in Inktober every 2 days. Yes, it's not as bad as the 31 days in a row. We only have 16 drawings to make. But there's some additional rules we have to follow. We have to create one character to illustrate for the whole challenge, and we have to base his design on someone else's skeleton we receive. It's a bit hard to explain, so let me show you. I was given these 2 sheets of skeleton made by one of my classmates, and I had to select 3 of them to work with. I designed 3 characters and then chose one for the whole Inktober. Before getting started on the series of illustrations, we have to draw 10 poses for each of the 3 characters, as well as 1 animated turnaround for the main one, and 2 model sheets for the remaining ones. If I manage to get everything done in time, I'll show it to you in the 3rd video. For my main character, I was going for a little informatic virus in the form of a girl just wandering around PC screens. Because I don't know if you paid attention to the prompts we were given this year, but you could translate half of the word with walk. And we literally had to translate them. English isn't our first language, so you could imagine our confusion when we were faced with hike, trek, roam, etc. The first 2 mean the exact same thing, and randomly there's a violin at the end. One last thing I forgot to mention, we have to create a story for our illustrations. The 16 drawings must have a comprehensive storyline behind it. It's not that original of a concept for Inktober, lots of artists already do it, but it certainly doesn't help when the shape of the character isn't necessarily yours to begin with, and the prompts are either repetitive or very random. On the good side, you can't feel alone in this challenge because you're surrounded by the other participants. And we have to post each of our drawings on the Discord and Facebook of the school precisely on the day of the prompt, so there's no way to be late on the assignment, you have to post on time. It's kind of a social media career simulator when you think about it. There's a few recommendations left for our version of the challenge. We have to create interesting scenes with perspective and exaggerated poses and expression. My school really pushes for a cartoon style. We're being taught how to enter the industry of European animation, so there's that. In case you were wondering what the hell was that art style on the recording. That being said, if I were to do Inktober on my own again, I wouldn't mind using a cartoony style, because it's a lot faster than my current art style and it looks really fun and dynamic, even on paper. There is some annoying challenge to the way the challenge is being handled in my courses, but I have to admit I'm having fun drawing her. I'm really pushing myself to draw exaggerated emotions, because I think I'm alright at dynamic poses, but I have to admit my characters can lack some intensity in their facial expressions. So I'm pretty happy with this exam so far. The 30 poses and animated turnaround isn't looking so good though. That's so much work added to the 2 animated films we're working on right now. Of course I'll handle it, I always do, but they're not going easy on us this year. And while I was talking, we started on the first word I had to illustrate, discover. I'm so lucky to be in the class starting on October the 2nd, because this is a fantastic word to begin with. You can literally draw anything. The other class had to start with backpack. Excuse me while I get the perfect story introduction. The first drawing was a bit nerve-wracking because I haven't used this kind of line art in years, I think. I was so shaky and hesitant I had to cut minutes and minutes of me just fidgeting with the pen. Thankfully, I remembered my middle school experience with these tools and I'm pretty happy with the result. I used an off-brand alcohol marker who smelled really strong for a safe tool. By that I mean I was coughing my lungs out and feeling dizzy afterward, but what am I saying, you know it's good material when you can feel the cancer tickling your throat, or when you struggle to finish coloring because the marker is already drying out. I may use it wrong, I'll give you that, You can imagine that if I haven't used a lot of pens recently, it's even worse for alcohol markers. I go over the line art one last time to really make it pop, and it's time for the second illustration. If you're following, you know the next word is exotic. After our little girl entered the computer, an army of antiviruses started following her to prevent her from stealing anything. You can see I'm really having fun with the expression on this one. I've never animated a face like that. This art style is a bit nostalgic to me. It's reminiscent of a lot of cartoons I watched as a kid. I'd say Cartoon Network type of show. Those really influenced me. The Steven Universe art book I own is like the Bible I turn to whenever I'm feeling discouraged or uninspired. Art books in general have that effect on me and probably on a lot of creators as well. It was fun drawing computer tabs and icons on paper. It's like a weird mix of different media and subjects. Even though I think it's the weakest part of the drawing, it's just so obvious how much I lack line confidence on paper. In the end, I don't know if I'm slower or faster than on digital, because here I can't Ctrl-Z the mistakes away, so you don't see me redo the same line over and over again. But on the other hand, I have to go manually over every line I want to thicken, and long, straight-ish lines are really slow and difficult. And don't get me started on the circles, I just accepted the fact that they would look wonky. Can't believe I'm describing my feelings towards putting ink on paper, but here I am, doing my best to pass an exam. Well, that is depressing, let's take it the other way around. I'm experimenting with the medium I forgot about for so long, and I'm enjoying it as much as possible because there's still a long way to go until October 31st. Here I'm using the hatching technique because we're not allowed to make gradients with paint or even alcohol markers. It's really satisfying and much faster than I expected. I'm a bit concerned I went overboard with it. Maybe I should have stopped on the first layer, but too late. And it doesn't look terrible, so I'll take it. After that, I went over the line art again. I'm scared to do it too big in the first place, so I'd rather do it all over again to make it more visible. The tip of the pen is 0.2 for the first line art, and the second one is made with a 0.7. If you know this type of pen, you know that 0.7 is pretty large, so I have to be cautious with it. Then it's time for the third prompt, the dreaded first twin of the list, Trek, followed just one day apart by his brother Hike, which both translate to randonnée. Thank you, Inktober, you were quite inspired on this too. Even our Curses director admitted this list was disappointing and a bit tricky. But after a few searches, we found that Trek is a hike, but wilder, if that makes sense. It's going off trails and just having a harder time than with a basic hike. So I went hard on our little virus for her walk. She's being stopped by the antiviruses while trying to enjoy her visit inside the computer. At this point, she wasn't even trying to steal anything, she was just curious. After hours of drawing her, I thought a bit about her motivations, and it occurred to me that she wasn't necessarily mean-spirited or malicious. She was just coded to go from computer to look at personal data. She's not the one using them, it's the person who created her in the first place. In this video, I'll admit she's more antagonistic. The next drawing doesn't really scream good guy on an adventure, I'm warning you. And, well, she's a virus, you don't want her around your stuff, even if she was the most innocent kid on Earth. Which she's not, she's more of a chaotic goblin in binary code. Fourth illustration of October for the word hike. I fixed the camera shaking and losing focus on this one, but we lose on the quality, so I'm sorry about that. I'm still figuring out which settings are the best, and how to properly fix my phone to the damn table. Anyway, little virus frees herself from the grip of the mean antiviruses and slaughter them with her sticks. And now she's free to steal any data she wants. She's mostly doing it out of spite against the antiviruses, because it's funny to make a mess in the folders. Look how happily she's walking away, it's the start of an epic journey. I like how I've let the stick out of the drawing limits. It breaks the symmetry and it looks even better once you thicken the line art. There's not much more to say about it. At this point my wrist is starting to be painful, but it's not too bad. Maybe 7 hours of inking isn't the best idea, but I just have to do it 2 more times and I'll be done with the whole list and half of the exam. At least I'm already feeling more confident in my line work. It's not about making it look better, but being comfortable with it not looking perfect. I can't guarantee I'll apply this to my digital work, but here I don't really have a choice, so it's useful. Again, we're thickening this very timid line art so I don't have to shade the whole illustration, but still give it some weight. I'm taking a lot of breaks. I think I'm being distracted by the video I'm watching. After 6 hours of inking, it's understandable. And last but not least for this video, the illustration for the prompt nomadic, which also means moving outside. I shouldn't complain, these repetitions allowed me to make my character move a lot. That's handy to move a plot along. Right now, she's just going wild and enjoying her freedom. She's growing more and more powerful with every computer she corrupts. I'm having fun with the perspective here, though the long lines were a pain to make. It's just sad to see me go over the first one 5 times and give up on the shape once I decided that the background will be black. I knew I wanted it black from the beginning, but I forgot about it midway through the line art, so I kept on trying to fix everything. It definitely looks better once I color it. I have a second sketchbook on the right that I use to rest my hand when I need to, because the sketchbook I'm using for the illustrations is really high, so my hand tends to fall from it when I draw on the sides of the page. I just started the sketchbook, so it's brand new and yeah, it's not the most comfortable thing to draw on right now. But the paper is thick and the exterior is really solid, so I'd say it's good material. Better quality than my off-brand alcohol marker coming back to tickle my lungs and my chances of survival past 25. It's not like it would live past this month anyway. The marker is struggling a lot and it's only the second drawing I'm using it for. But I have to believe in it, there's still a few more drawings to go. And that's where we're ending this, because my phone didn't record the end of the drawing. I hope you enjoyed this first Inktober video. I wish you a lot of courage if you're doing the full challenge. Have you ever heard of art schools using it as an illustration exam? It's pretty amazing when you think about it, because it's an internet challenge and it made its way to the academic institutions. Well played, Inktober!